it's been a really long process. Uh, when right before I transferred to Oklahoma, I think that's when I realized, okay, I could really make football like my career. And so, man, just being able, it just still don't even feel real. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still shaking, but I mean, it never like it's something you always dream about. Everybody says I want to go play in the NFL. I want to do this, that, and being one of the guys that actually gets to do it is just crazy. I mean, so I don't know, just very overwhelmed right now.
Understandable.
We'll go to James.
Jonah, congrats. What kept you going when maybe you didn't see this right in front of you? Like, obviously, when you get to this point in your career, you can work hard and try to, chase a late draft pick, whatever the case may be. But what kept you going when you were, switching schools, going far away from home, like those types of things, and ultimately ending up here?
What kept me going was when I was younger, I got my work ethic from my mom. There was a point where, she had filed for bankruptcy. And she had to take up two jobs, and so she would go work her job from 7 in the morning to 3-4 p.m. She would come home, make sure that we were all good, and then she'd go to her other job. She had another job, like she took up a job at Macy's, like checking out people. And so seeing that at my age, when I was like 15, it was a really pivotal point for me because I didn't know football was fun. I was a big dude in high school. It was easy for me. And so, I had like coaches back then that kind of like, they tried to switch my position to offense and offensive line, and I didn't want to play offensive line. And I was kind of stressed out, but, seeing my mom and what she was going through for us, it kind of changed my mindset when I was like 15. And so, man, I've always had that mindset of working, hard work, because, nothing in life is handed to you. Nothing in life is given to you. You got to go and, take it yourself. So I've always just had that mindset of, working hard, put my head down and just going to work. And so, that got me to Hawaii, and then got me from Hawaii to Oklahoma, and got me from Oklahoma to Indianapolis. So it's pretty crazy how life works.
We'll go to Joel.
Jonah, you had a pretty impressive pro day. Could you tell while it was going on that you were catching the NFL's attention with some of the numbers you were putting up?
I don't know. I mean, I thought I did good for myself. Like, I have really high expectations for myself, and I'm really, really hard on myself, which is I think a good and bad thing. Because when if I don't meet my expectations, like I'll be really on myself, and I'll really get in my head, and it kind of motivates me to just keep going, which helped me got to where I am. And I mean, I don't know if I was thinking I was getting attention. I mean, at pro day, you go watch, you can watch it on like YouTube or whatever. Or, we watch on this app that we have, and I was rewatching it to see how I looked during like the drills, and and so I was watching everything I did, and it's just crazy because after everything you do, those scouts are looking at you, and then they're looking back down, writing on a notepad, looking up, and then looking back down, and so like I don't know, I kind of just try to block out everything else and just focus on what was coming up next, whether it was like broad jump, vertical, 40, all that. So, I mean, but afterwards, though, I was like, okay, I guess I did pretty decent.
When could you tell the Colts were interested in you, and how could you tell?
So my guy Anthony over there, he was scouting me, and so I thought it was really cool, just being able to talk to NFL teams because I'm big on where I'm at right now is what I used to pray for, and so just being able to talk to scouts on Zoom and stuff, I thought it was really cool. And he was saying that they really liked me, and man, I was just. It was just crazy. I didn't know they liked me this much. I mean, and so, man, they had me come out for a visit. I really loved the staff. They got to learn more about my story. Coach Partridge and Coach Bradley, they really got to learn all about my story and how I kind of had to take things into my own hands to get to where I was. And so, I really loved talking to all the coaches. And I mean, we got a badass GM, Chris Ballard, and man, I mean, I think we had a good connection when I went. And I mean, shoot, here I am.
Last one, George.
You mentioned that story and kind of taking things into your own hands. I mean, how much of that can you share with us here and now?
I mean, I share it all. So, coming out of high school, I played tight end. I wanted to play tight end, so I got to Hawaii. My whole world flipped upside down. I went from playing tight end to playing defensive end, and I wasn't playing like just your edge defensive end. I was playing like a 3-down defensive end kind of, and so I would be in a 4-eye 5 technique, and so going from tight end, where I'm trying to catch balls and run routes. And I'm blocking like safeties and linebackers and stuff like that. And now I'm the one getting blocked by these big offensive linemen. And man, it was quite the transition for me. I mean, big shout out to my defensive line coach when I got there, because he had a lot to work with when I got there. Because I mean, I had to start from the ground up. I had no technique, no fundamental. I didn't have any prior knowledge of playing defensive line. I mean, I played in high school, but in high school everybody plays both sides, and in high school, I was a big body, so they just let me do whatever I wanted. Like they'd throw me in, they'd be like, "Jonah, go play nose." I'm like, "Yes, sir." And so, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm getting the yapping. I mean, it's kind of quite the story. But so went to Hawaii. My coach, he had got me right, and he really had to take his time with me, especially in spring, because he can't really take that time to really work on me during the season, because we're busy game planning and stuff. And so he really, in that spring, after my freshman season, because I had redshirted, he had really helped me, got my mind right, learning all these different techniques, alignments, and all these different stunts. And so, going into college, learning all this was quite the awakening. I was getting my butt whooped at practice by these guys that have been, all these offensive linemen. And what's really helped me though, because you got to go through stuff to learn, and so I was going through it for sure, getting my butt whooped, thrown around inside, and so that second year with them, I got way better than I was. I mean, still had a lot of things to work on. Still had to get better with my fundamentals and technique for sure, but I was getting the knowledge down as far as how offenses operate, how offensive line will try to manipulate you or block you, and trench warfare. I had to learn all of that. And so sadly they left that year after that. And so that staff went to a different school. And so I had got new coaches, and their system was like a 3-down front. We was kind of like just 2-gapping, doing whatever we wanted. And so I wasn't really as a defensive lineman, I wasn't getting better just because I wasn't under a system where it required me to have really strict technique and fundamentals. I was kind of just watching my Hawaii tape. You see, I was just doing whatever. And so, I wanted to get better as a defensive lineman, because, I had just been playing defensive line for 2 years. And so I'm playing in college. And so it was crazy. 2 seasons that I was with that new coaching staff. And, I just felt like I wasn't getting better as a defensive lineman. And so, I kind of, fought myself with it, entering the portal or not. Ended up entering the portal because, I wanted to get better coaching I wanted to be in a really in a system that, kind of showcase my abilities, whether where I could play all over or whatnot. And so, chose OU with, Coach Venables, Coach Bates, and Coach Chavis. And man, those guys got me right. They got to working, and they were teaching me all these new moves, because when I was at Hawaii, I wasn't practicing any defensive line moves, pass rushing and everything. I kind of just I had to watch, like Instagram videos of D-line vids and like trench warfare, those Instagram accounts where it's showing cut-ups of defensive linemen and their pass rush moves. And so I that's kind of how I was teaching myself moves and techniques, like a cross chop or, stuff like that. And I would just screen record it on my phone, and I would just rewind it, these Instagram clips of defensive linemen like Max Crosby, Aaron Donald, guys like that, Ed Oliver. I was watching guys, pass rushing and, learning moves like that. And so, that's why I went to Oklahoma. These coaches actually got me right. They taught me, so much. I went from playing defensive end, where I was dropping into coverage. I was, lining up outside shade to number 2, stopping him from getting an inside release or something like that, or outside release. It was crazy. And so Then the next year I started moved to the inside because, that first year at Oklahoma, I learned that I'm not an outside linebacker. Lining up outside and dropping in the seam and flats and pressing number two was not my forte. I was over there getting cooked by those receivers, and so made that move to inside, and this is really where I shined. And I mean, I found a new love for the game when I moved inside. Especially playing like three technique, pass rushing from a three. I don't know. I just felt so free when I was rushing from there because, you have usually when you're pass rushing from a three technique, you have a three-way go. You go outside, you can go through him, or you go inside him. And yeah, sorry, I'm getting to yapping, but yeah, it's been a long process, man.